Hello everyone and welcome back to The Review Ting. Today we have a very special guest on the channel. We have Mr. Kitsune Bites. And today we're talking about the Steam Deck. So stick around and we're going to talk about all the specs, techs, and everything to do with the Steam Deck. So Kitsune Bites, tell us, what is a Steam Deck?
Dude, so a Steam Deck is a handheld PC. I mean, a lot of people have been calling it the Switch killer, which I kind of disagree. Because the Switch does what it does swimmingly well. The Steam Deck is it's not a console. It's a full PC in your hand, but then on the other hand, it's not a PC. So like It's really weird, man. It's really weird. There's been a super big influx of these handheld gaming, let's call them rigs, man, coming out. And they're like, Valve has, I feel, hit the nail on the head with it, and it's doing what they wanted and what other people want really well.
Well, this is what I was going to say, because you actually got me onto both the Steam Deck, and before that you got an Iron Odin. And that was also supposed to be like a Switch killer and supposed to be really cool. So, you know, but the actual Steam Deck itself just seems absolutely incredible. I've recently picked one up myself, and I will say it is top notch. It is really good. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, I've had mine. I was in Q1, so I've had mine for just about 4 months now, and it's honestly it's replaced all of my consoles, minus the Switch, because Nintendo, it likes to keep their first parties on lock. But
we'll get to that.
We will certainly get to that. We will certainly get to that. But I mean, I haven't really messed with my PS5 in 3-4 months. Same with my Xbox, because this little thing just it does everything really good.
I mean, and that's the thing with the system. It's very, very capable. So obviously one of the first things that you told me about was to pick up was Aperture Desk Job. Yeah.
Yes. So Aperture Desk Job goes through, and think about like when you got your PS5, you played Astro's Playroom. And that was amazing because it had a little story to it. You went through and you got a chance to see the controller haptics, all the new features that Sony threw at you. Well, think about that with Aperture Desk Job. Valve made all of the Portal games. So Aperture Desk Job kind of takes place in that universe, and you're able to go through and use the touchpads, use the capacitive sticks, so you can try out the gyro, you can hit all the back buttons. It is a great way to show you how the hardware works.
And that is exactly what I was going to say, is I appreciate you sharing that with me, because my God, it is a lot of fun. You can definitely tell it's got that Portal sort of vibe to it. It's so good, so good. So yeah, it's definitely a must if you're going to be picking up the Steam Deck. Just to test everything out.
Yeah.
And you use all the buttons. It literally in lifetime it recognizes all the buttons. It's super cool. Really good. And it's free.
Exactly. It's for a free game that also makes sure that your hardware works. Yeah. What more do you want? Because you don't want to get your Steam Deck and then jump into a game and have nothing work. Exactly. Then you have to send it back. And then now you're waiting however long an RMA takes.
Yeah. And like I say, the system is just, it's such a great system. That's actually going to be my next point. So what are the possibilities of the system? What can it do?
Well, I mean, there's not really much that it can't do, and that's what is still blowing my mind. Like you can essentially run all of your PC games on this thanks to Proton. And Proton, if you're a Mac user, think of it as like wine. So it's going to emulate the things that Windows needs to recognize games, or games need from Windows. So you can do that. You can run, and I know you want to get into this a little bit later, but you can run a ton of emulators. You can run a ton of different systems.
Again, this kind of crosses and overlaps the boundaries, because you do have to mess around with it a little bit to get some of these things working. But so far, we've been able to get Steam. That works absolutely great. Then you've got launcher Heroic, which allows you to play your GOG games and your Epic games. Yep.
Yes.
And then you can also just finish setting up the Xbox xCloud. We managed to set that up on there. And what else are we missing?
We did Heroic, Xbox. What else did we do? We did some. Oh, you know what we did? We did Chiaki, which is your remote play for PS4 and PS5.
You're able to play your PS4 and PS5. That was what I was missing. So for me, that is the biggest thing, because when I got the Steam Deck, I wanted to be able to play like everything PlayStation. Mm-hmm. So I am a PlayStation guy. So I've got my PS1, PS2, PS3, PS4, and my PS5 basically running on the system, which is music to my ears, because Sony has long forgotten about the days of the handhelds, you know, with the PSP, PS Vita. They're just long gone. So now the Steam Deck, which is basically able to run all of it, it runs extremely well.
I mean, that was something I thought right off the bat when I got mine was I can have everything routed to this thing, and I don't have to. I can watch a movie and play a full game, not like a watered down handheld version. I can play a full game, and you know what I mean. Just sit there, lounge, and do everything under the sun and play.
And you know what? That is the beauty of the system, and that's why I'm so happy with this little system. It just means you can take everything everywhere with you, and just bung it all on an SD card and go. Actually, that should lead us into the next part. Need to get all these things up and running? We're going to talk about.
So I would say first thing you want to do, you want to start looking at an SD card, because the Steam Deck comes in three different flavors. You have 64 gigabyte, 256, and a 512. There's room on those, but you always want to have that little extra something. And let me tell you, dude, things run off the SD card great. So I recommend go out and get a 1 terabyte SD card, and you're good to go. That there is going to be enough to get you, if you don't want to do a lot of tinkering, that's going to be enough to get you going. Now, if you want to do all the things that we've done, you want to grab you could get a USB hub, you could get a dongle, you could get...
Here it is. So it's got your USB-Cs, your USB-As, HDMI. It's essential. It's essential when using this sort of setup.
And that's perfect for what you want to do. You know, that's perfect, because you can plug in your mouse and your keyboard, and that's the other part of it. You can hook up a wireless mouse, wireless keyboard, whatever, through that dock or hub or dongle, whatever. You can hook all that all together in there, and then that's when you have this little portable, PC. So that, I would say, those would be the things you want to look at. You want to get, first and foremost, you want to get an SD card. Then you want to go in and get your hub or your dock or what have you, because you can play this on your TV. And that's where a lot of people think that it's going to kill the Switch, but the fact that you still have to go in and do a little tinkering, that's why I don't consider it a Switch killer.
I mean, it is definitely, it's not pick up and play. It's not that straightforward, unless you're strictly using it as a Steam Deck.
Exactly.
But one of the things we both completely excited about was you can emulate on this.
Yes.
Thing. That is where this absolutely shines. So, obviously, Consumer Bytes, he has delved into this. He's about 4 months ahead of me. I'm like 2 days in, and I'm like, dude, I need your help, and you were more than kind enough to help me out with that. So, absolutely ecstatic about that. So let's talk about that. So, do you want to tell everyone what games, what systems can you run on the Steam Deck?
So you can essentially emulate everything, and when I say everything up to Xbox 360 and PS3. You can run all your old school like Atari stuff. You can run arcade cabinet stuff. You can run MAME on it. You can do obviously all your Super Nintendo, Sega, all that stuff. You can do that, but then it gets into you can run Wii, you can run Wii U, you can run Switch if you really want to. If you really want to dive into that, you can. You can run all the Xboxes up to, like I said, 360, and then same with PlayStation. You could do PS1, PS2, PS3, PSP, and apparently there's PS Vita too coming to it. So
that's the one thing that I really want to get onto and set up is PS Vita, but that is absolutely something that'll come very soon. I'm excited to see what they do. And that's the other thing, you know? You're looking at all these games and think about the amount of time people plow into these games, sometimes which are hundreds of thousands of pounds, you know, or dollars in Kitsune Bytes part of the world. But yeah, this is just all encompassing. This is the sort of one stop.
It is.
I would definitely say that. It is just everything. It requires a bit of modding, a bit of messing about, but you're definitely going to get your money's worth. So, I mean, that kind of takes it on. Is it worth it? I absolutely think it is.
I can't tell you how much I recommend it to people, because you don't have to flat out have your $400 if you get the 64 gigabyte or your 5.6 for the 256. You don't have to have that all at once. You can put your $5 down and put money aside in your Steam wallet. So think of it as like a pseudo layaway. You know what I mean? Because let's face it, you know, who's gonna have that kind of money just laying around when the time comes? You know what I mean?
Exactly. It's a great little thing. For me, I had an entire year to save and put it away. But when it came to paying for it, I'd already saved away. But yeah, that's a great point. Yes, you can put money in your Steam account and then and build it up, and then eventually when the payment comes, you just
Exactly. And as far as like everything else goes, I mean, you think about it, mostly everything comes to PC.
Yeah, I mean, it really does. It's only a matter of time before these consoles exclusives come over.
Exactly.
So that's one thing that I am really excited about.
I mean, there's the one thing I'm real excited that's coming out to PC is Spider-Man. Sony is finally bringing Spider-Man to PC. Right. And think about this. What do you want? What's the best thing about PC gaming? Running mods and customizing the game the way you want. So think about the possibilities of that. You know, who's going to be web swinging through New York City? We don't know. I know God of War. There's the Simpsons mod, because that's on here, and you can run around as Homer and Bart in God of War. I mean, who wouldn't want that?
Who wouldn't want that? I know. Funny enough, I seen that the other day. It's absolutely amazing. It's so cool. So, I mean, okay. So talking about mods, let's get on to our final point. Mods. What mods are coming out? We're talking physical mods now. Yeah, let's talk about physical mods. So, what things are coming out very soon?
Excuse me. So what you want to do is, you know, you want to look at if let's say you want to do you don't like the Valve issued black console. You want something different. Well, you can go buy skins for it. There's a ton of people out there making custom skins. There's a couple name brands out there. They're a little pricey, but there's a lot of independent people making them. And you can go on Etsy. You can go. I think some of them might be within their own communities, like their own. I know the Steam Deck server. There's a couple people in there that are like, "Yo, DM me, and I'll PayPal me the money, and I'll send you out a skin." Like, there's people doing that. So there's already all kind of little things like that you can do. The other thing you can get. There's people 3D printing docks, stands. There's even people going as far as 3D printing like screen frames to run a dual screen on this thing.
Oh yeah, people are actually using it as dedicated DS machines.
Yeah, it's the Steam Deck community is legit coming together and making some awesome stuff. I know the one I'm excited for and I have on order is the Gully Kit Hall Effect analogs, or not analog sticks, the sticks.
They are.
That's something I feel is gonna really change the way you play, because obviously the sticks in this now they're good. It's just a normal analog stick, but if you they wear over time, and Valve knows that. So replacing them is nothing. It's all modular. So if I can get a kit that has everything I need, and all I have to do is screw it in and then set up the configuration, dude, I'm all about it.
My guy, it's such a cool little thing to be messing about with, because you can take these things apart and then literally replace them.
Yeah, exactly.
You take bits out of a PC and you put it all back together. Exactly the same thing. It's definitely a thing. One of the other things I wanted to talk about that people have been doing as well is you can actually play the SSD within the system. So people are buying the cheapest model, going out and then buying the M.2 SSD.
So this is a mod. I actually did the mine within 10 minutes of owning it. I made sure that all my inputs work. I went, shut it down, and I put the drive. It's an M.2 2230 is the size you want. But that's so I paid the $400 for the 64 gigabyte, made sure everything was working as it should, shut it down, threw in a 256, because I mean, if $40 for a 256 SSD, that's not bad. A couple $100 for a 1 terabyte SSD, that's a different story.
Yeah,
so
yeah, it makes a massive difference. At the end of the day, like I say, it's just another thing. If you're looking at the top spec and right now you can't afford it, that's one thing you can definitely do is look at it and go, that's fine. I'm gonna go for the cheaper option. In a year's time, I might be able to save up for one of the SD cards,
right?
And SSD cards, and yeah, if you feel comfortable opening it up, just go ahead and get it done. Yeah,
absolutely.
It's something you can do. There we go. I think that's pretty much covered the Steam Deck as a whole. Honestly, it is so cool, and I'm so excited to get into this thing. And I know you over there, Mr. Kitsune Bites, I don't think you've done a stream without your Steam Deck.
No, so ever since I got this thing, I everything I've played is from the Steam Deck. Every single game. I have yet to do anything on my Switch. I've yet to do anything on my my Xbox or my PlayStation. This has been my dedicated gaming unit.
I can see why. I can absolutely see why. So tell everyone where they can find you, and tell us any of the links and stuff you want to shout out before we go.
All right, so you can find me on Twitch at Kitsune Bites. You can find me on Twitter at Kitsune Bites. Same with Instagram. Don't have a Facebook, unfortunately. Sorry to all those who still use it.
Facebook's the devil.
But I will say I am on a new podcast with one of our good friends, Erek Ladd. He's also a friend of your show, if I'm not mistaken.
A very good friend of the channel.
So you can find me there, you can find Eric there, and that is the Breakfast of Champions podcast, streaming every Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern, and it's on Apple iTunes and Spotify, and I think everywhere else, YouTube as well.
Yep, it is absolutely everywhere. So you've got no excuses.
Exactly.
It is legitimately one of my favorite podcasts as well, and I'm not just saying that. I genuinely enjoy it.
Well, good, man. That's good to hear, because we like to hear that kind of stuff.
Anyways, guys, we'll leave it there, and thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.